Hello and welcome to All Things Seniors. This is your host Rafiq. I have over 20 years of caregiving experience, and on this channel I empower other caregivers one episode at a time. 2025 is ending, and I thought that it's a good time to reflect as to what I achieved or learned as a caregiver. What was that moment which reminded me of my journey and growth as a caregiver, and also giving myself maybe a goal for 2026. And I thought I'll share a couple of things that stood out for me, and I would love to learn from you as to what are the things that stood out for you, and if you could share that with me, I would love to learn and maybe talk about some of those findings in one of the next episodes. So what stood out for me to share that, I want to give you an example. Okay, one thing is for sure that with this journey of creating this channel and sharing with you all and continue to discuss my own caregiving journey with others, it is helping me. It is helping me big time. It's one of those things where, as we say that when we share a sorrow or a difficulty, it just helps us go through that time, right? And I'm sharing my challenges and journey of being a caregiver with you is not only, I hope, helping you, but it's also helping me a lot. So that part is given, that it is helping me to grow as a caregiver. But what stood out for me, that despite of being a better caregiver now than I was 12 months ago, none of us are perfect. We all have those days when we feel down and out. We need somebody to give us a hand, or there is an analogy where we say that I want a rope. I want a rope to come out of this darkness right now. And I want to give you one specific example of how my support system played the role of the rope. So Boxing Day, last week, we as a family decided to go to a nearby mall, and we said, hey, you know what, we don't have to necessarily shop a lot, but people watching and the buzz and taking parents there, it gives them an opportunity of, we living in a winter city, allows them to walk in the mall and eat as a family at food court, the kind of enjoying the festivities outside of the year-end time and the Christmas time. So we all went as a family. It was like 10 of us, me, my wife, three of our parents, my mom and dad, my wife's mom. That's our household. And then my sister and, her family, like 2 kids and her spouse. So about 9 or 10 of us, we are now in a mall. It's a lot of rush, right? And me, in my mind, my antennas are up as to what my dad needs, what my mom needs, and, where will they sit? Is the restrooms available for them to go if they have to, or are there lines and they have to wait? And I'm thinking as a caregiver, like for example, phones are not working. A lot of people are in the same area of the mall, and maybe the phone network is overloaded, and we are trying to call my dad while he's walking and unable to get to him. It was stressful, to say the least. Like a lot of people are there, and usually what happens when we go to a mall, we find a large table at the food court and we all sit together. And that particular day, it's so much rush at the mall that every table where some people are eating and a family is like hovering nearby. As soon as they see that this family is finishing, the next family comes and sit. How do I find a table for 10? Let alone, like, that day it was difficult to find 1 or 2 people sitting together next to each other. Finding a table for 10 was almost impossible. So there was another stress. How will we sit down and eat as a family? We were unable to connect with each other. And at that moment, something flipped in my mind, and I all of a sudden said, let's go home. This is not safe for my parents. Like, I became that, the alpha caregiver. I want to protect my mom and dad, and I want to take care of them. I want to take them home because this place is no more safe for them. And as soon as that happened in my mind, I became a different person. Now I am a tired caregiver. I'm a burned out caregiver. I'm not looking at things objectively. I'm not thinking about anyone else but my parents, or I'm thinking as a tired caregiver who is not thinking objectively, that it's a family outing, right? And I'm saying, Oh, so for example, my sister said, oh, yeah, if we can't eat here at the food court, let's go out at a restaurant. I'm saying, no, we are going home. My wife said, oh, at least we can go to this store. Mom likes it. I said, no, we are going home. And I was in that no zone. It was blocked, right? And then my wife took me on the side and she said, hey, I want to remind you, I know you already know this. I know you tell this to everyone on your channel. I know you have come a long way as a caregiver. I know you already know this, but I want to remind you that I am not correcting you. I'm just trying to play the role of a rope. And this is our agreed upon word with each other. When somebody says I'm playing the role of a rope, the other person takes a step back and say, okay, wow, okay, good. I have support. This person is not judging me. This person is not correcting me. They're just trying to help. And then she said, is it okay if you just go in a calm mode, don't make any decisions, let me make a decision for you at least for next half an hour and see how do you feel about it. And then I said, yeah, sure, okay, sure, go ahead. And then she said, okay, let's go to this restaurant and as a family we'll have a meal at least. It will be awkward if we all go rush back to home out of fear of rush here, right? So let's go to this restaurant and we can make a plan afterwards. And then I said, yeah, sure, let's do that. So my sister calls this restaurant, we all drive there, we have a great lunch. And while I was having lunch, by the time my nerves were calmed, and I told both my sister, who's a sandwich generation caregiver, taking care of kids and parents both, and my wife, who is a primary caregiver to her mom, and my companion, my support, my rope, right? And I took both of them on the side and I said, thank you. Thank you, because now I feel that I was under a lot of stress. I was thinking from the position of fear. I was not thinking objectively. And I think that moment stands out for me in my 2025 caregiving journey, that as much as we become prepared, we know there are times and days where we will need that support system around us, right? We need to, and I think you also need to think about who are those people around you who will play the role of rope for you. Have a dialogue with them, have a conversation with them. Tell them that let's agree on this word, that if I tell you or you tell me that I'm playing the role of a rope, the other person will take a step back, calm down, and yeah, I know it's easier said than done, but once, if it is made like a plan, your brain will register it. You will not take that, like I at that moment did not take the comment from my wife as an attack on my sanity as a caregiver. I took that moment as, okay, we talked about it. I agreed on the fact that when we use this word, I have to take a step back and calm down. Because it was my plan, then I acted on it, right? And at that moment it helped me. So I thought I'll share this with you. I highly encourage you to identify that 1, 2, or 3 people around you. I hope you have that. If you don't have that, make that happen. Be somebody's rope and have somebody be your rope so that you can continue to be a better caregiver. So that is my point number 1 for you today, that reflect on your last year. What was that moment that stands out and what did you learn from it? And please share with me in the comment section. And from my learning, take with you the concept of rope and find your rope around you. So that was my point number 1. Let me tell you what is my point number 2 for today's episode. So before I tell you about my point number 2, if you are liking this episode or this content, like this episode, subscribe to the channel. This helps me a lot and promote the channel. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, so point number 2 is, I want all of us caregivers to think about self-improvement, our own growth. You know, some people call it year-end resolution or next year's goal, whatever the nomenclature or the terminology is. I think what's important is that we, for a moment, stop thinking about as a caregiver. Instead, we take a pause and think about ourselves, give ourselves a goal, a reflection as to what you have been thinking of doing, but you could not have done it until now. because of your caregiver journey or your focus on your loved one as caregiver. But for New Year, I challenge you to set aside at least some time. Few minutes a day, a few minutes a week, maybe an hour every other week, whatever that time is, but give yourself that time for self-improvement. For some, it could be reading more books. For some, it could be, hey, I would like to start running again. For some, it could be, I want to learn a new language, or I want to learn playing guitar or piano. Like anything what has been your goal for self-improvement or growth, whatever that is, give time to that. And I want to share with you my resolution, and I will share with you how I'm progressing on my resolution as the months will pass, so that I feel accountable to it, right? I want you to call me on it if I'm not sharing my results with you per se. So my 2026 goal or year resolution is that I will run a marathon, a full marathon, right? So let me tell you, where do I start? I am not a runner, right? I'm not a runner. I like walking. When I walk, I listen to audiobooks, and that is my way of calming my nerves down from my daily grind and my caregiver's role. So listening to audiobooks, listening to some podcasts help me as a caregiver. But this year, I want to challenge myself. And the reason why I picked running, because I think it will help me physically. I'll have more endurance. I'll have more stamina as a caregiver. It will also help me to contemplate when I am on my runs, just like when I'm on my walk. It gives me time, me time to think about my life and my role and my learning and my journey. And I want to give me, like Rafiq, that time, not the Rafiq caregiver, but the Rafiq person, that time to continue to think and contemplate about my own journey. So I'll be running a full marathon. Like, how do I do that? I've started training. I've dedicated, say, about 4 to 5 hours a week. I know I have that luxury because I have my wife, my sister, my mom around me to take care of my dad when I'm there. For some of you, that may not be the luxury. For some of you, you may only be able to set aside 15 minutes a day or 15 minutes a week. Whatever time you can set aside, maybe you can set aside even more, right? But whatever your life allows you, please do something, right? Many a times we do not think and we do not give ourselves that goal, and then we don't do it. But giving yourself a goal will allow you to then focus on you. So please do that. And I think that's not selfish. That is not selfish, because many a times caregivers, when they think about themselves, they say, oh, that's very selfish of me. How can I take time away when my mom needs this help at this time? But I think we need to be more strategic about it, because if we keep on pouring from the vessel that we are, if we are empty, we can't help our loved one. We'll be burnt out, we'll be rude, frustrated. That's not the kind of caregiving journey I want to be on. I want to be enthusiastic about it. I want to be more prepared so that I can take care of my father's emotional, physical needs. And I'll only be able to do that if I am emotionally and physically capable of doing that. So that's my goal for 2026, running a marathon. I'll do another episode in about a month or two to tell you where I have landed. And I've already started doing some training. I think I am around 10-ish kilometers right now. I have to go to 42, right? So it's quite a journey. I have 6 months to do that. The Manitoba Marathon that I want to partake in is in June. It's December end right now, so I have some time. But I think that's allowing me to focus and to learn and to be able to share with you. So that's my 2 things today. Some reflection from last year and some things that we look for next year. What are your resolutions? Please write in comments. I would love to hear, and I'm sure more viewers will see, and it will give us some ideas. In the end, I always say that a rested caregiver is a better caregiver. So take care of yourself, and so that, I think we all will be able to better take care of our loved ones. It was awesome to have you today, and I'll see you next week. Until then, ciao.